I'm Ryan Weber. I'm the computer-aided drafting instructor here at Salina Area Technical College. Well, right before teaching, I was in sales. Prior to my sales years, I was a drafter at, back then it was called Premier Pneumatics, and now people know it by Coperion and Catron. So I worked there for 5.5 years, starting out as a design technician and progressing up that scale a little bit while I was there. I have a varied educational background. So I started off going to school at Kansas State University here on the Salina campus, known as Kansas State Polytechnic now. I got an associate's degree in mechanical engineering technology from them. And then after that, I took a few years off, and while I was working as a drafter, I went back to school and got my bachelor's in business management from Kansas Wesleyan University in the evenings. And then I took a few years off. I started teaching and got my master's in career and technical education from Pittsburgh State University. I grew up on a dairy farm, and I remember the year 1993, Kansas got a lot of rain and a lot of Kansas was flooded. And so living through that, being a dairy farmer, working outside every day, I decided I did not want a job working outside. And so it really came down to I wanted something indoors where it's cool in the summertime and it's warm in the wintertime, and something I can do in an office environment. So I think as far as the people go and as far as like what you enjoy doing, whether it's construction and you're working on your house, or if it's over a machine tool where you're using a lathe or using a mill, or even just in your garage working with a drill press and saws, or if you're over working in auto and you're working on cars, I can relate to a lot of those different programs because at some level it all started in drafting and in an engineering department or in an architectural firm, and we produce the drawings that are either describing what these people are making or what they're working on, or it's the foundation of creating those, like an automobile. Every component on a car is drawn up by an engineer or a drafter somewhere. Computer-aided drafting over 2 semesters covers multiple drafting disciplines. The largest component is mechanical drafting, so it's going to be things you would do woodworking, if you did any woodworking in high school, or if you do woodworking after high school, or working with metal, so if it's welding or bolting stuff together. So mechanical drafting is going to focus on those concepts of working with metal and working with wood. Also, we cover architectural drafting, which is going to be designing a house or designing a commercial building like a school or Walmart, Menards, any kind of business that you would go into. And then the third major type of drafting that we cover is civil drafting, and that deals with the land. And what we get introduced to in that class is designing a road. So we just have a small piece of land and we're laying out a road on that piece of land. And then we touch just real briefly on electrical drafting as well, but it's a pretty small part of the entire program. Demand for drafting is decent. I can tell you within the last 2 weeks I've had 5 messages from employers that have been looking for drafters either on a part-time basis or an internship or summer or full-time employment. And those have come from all over the place. One was from Council Grove, one was from Colorado, others were more locally. One of the reasons for that is there's becoming fewer and fewer drafting programs in the state and in the country. And so I start getting calls and emails from employers that normally wouldn't reach out this far, but it's because of the demand. They're just trying to fill those positions. A career path for a drafter, typically that's your foot in the door. And so you'll start off in engineering or in an architectural firm as a drafter just doing drawings. And 5 years down the road, chances are you'll still be a drafter, but you'll have more responsibility. You'll work up on the pay scale, and 10 to 20 years, if you're still a drafter, you're towards the top of that pay scale. Some employers do promote from within, and they like to train their own people, and they'll just continue giving you more and more responsibility, and they'll continue to increase your pay. And it doesn't matter to them if you have the education that some employers would require to be an engineer or to be a designer. they're willing to allow you to do it as long as you show that you're a responsible individual and you're willing to take on that responsibility. One of the advantages that I see of my program is it can prepare students to go on to pursue engineering or architecture, especially high school students, as they're maybe taking my classes as a junior or senior in high school, and they're thinking about engineering, but they're not completely sold on it, or they're thinking about architecture. By taking my classes, it's going to help you decide, is this something you want to pursue after high school or after you complete your drafting degree? And I have had some students who have transferred on and completed their engineering degrees and have taken engineering jobs after they graduated from college. A lot of students that I have in here, it seems like they like working with their hands to do something, whether it's just out in the garage and working on a car, or working on some kind of project, or remodeling their house. Even if it's something as simple as you like playing with Legos. All of that, it involves building and making, and that's in essence drafting and engineering. Is if you enjoy building things, but you don't necessarily want to be that person who's building all the time, and you want to design, and you want to be the person instructing other people on what to make, that's who should consider drafting.